Hello, everyone! Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. Woohoo! Party! Happy Monday. I completely, and actually it's interesting. Somebody in the lounge just posted a quote at perfect timing. Quote, no profession requires more hard work, intelligence, patience, and mental discipline than successful speculation. Robert Ray, economist, trader, Dow Theory, 1887 to 1952. Actually, it sounds like he died pretty young, eh? But gee whiz, what a great anecdote for today. As soon as you think the market's going to zig, the market zags. And it just goes back and forth and sometimes can absolutely drive you crazy. But what the hell? I caught the bug probably, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I guess. Jesus, a long time ago. And once you lose it, once you catch the bug, it's almost impossible to let it go. But anyway, so welcome back to the broadcast. Today is Monday, TGIM. And unfortunately, actually, not unfortunately, fortunately, it just is what it is. And unfortunately, when it comes to trading, that's often a brutal reality. It is what it is, and there's not a hell of a lot you can do about it. Actually had a crypto bullish cross signal come in last night, but I actually went to bed early last night because I was so exhausted. Liam and I had a great afternoon, and fascinating. Asked all of you people out in social media and stuff when I did the video yesterday to wish him best wishes, and he was in actually a very agreeable mood yesterday. Very angry, of course, when I dropped him off and had to end the visit. But anyway, that's our crazy life. But last night we actually had a bullish cross come in on the crypto 30. And what a great analogy of an algo trader's life. Buy, sell. I mean, look at this: buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. Oh my goodness. So woke up this morning, and unfortunately, it is what it is. I saw that and went, oh, criminy. But went in and pulled the trigger. Actually, I don't mind the level that I got back in on the corn. But this is just the algo for the algo purposes. It's just one trading plan. But as you can see, crypto actually moved up quite smartly overnight, along with things like energy. Even the total crypto market. In fact, later on, maybe we'll get into it. Some of the altcoins, and actually I even just tweeted out one of the altcoins when the market was dumping there a few days ago and everything was coming off. I even put out a tweet saying, there are actually some cryptos that look like they're buys in here. And sure enough, one of the name that I actually tweeted out is just got the most beautiful chart pattern working right now. So, go figure. It's trader's life. Interesting to see the disconnect between the small cap market and the larger stocks. A little bit of an odd twist there. Maybe there's something going on with the Russell 2000. I'm not sure. That kind of jumped out at me this morning. That's a bit of a surprise. And then also, too, what is driving a lot of this? Of course, you can see the NASDAQ's just going crazy here. And I have a feeling, historically, energy prices, specifically, things like cost of electricity, cost of heating, utilities, that kind of stuff, bites into a lot of purchasing managers' budgets. So when they see energy prices go up in earnest, it usually hurts the tech stocks. And then vice versa. When you see energy prices come off, it often helps the tech stocks. And I did notice that the natural gas price, like the headlines this morning, are natural gas prices fall, biggest percentage in like 5 years. Well, I mean, if you actually pull up the chart, it's not really that big of a deal. But nonetheless, if you pull up the percentages, you see that, I don't know where the best place to show you this is. I guess it's over here. Well, I guess we can just go here. NG1 exclamation mark. there is your big move in natural gas, down 14% on the day. Oh my God, it's a new bull market, it's a new bear. I don't know. I get the feeling what's happened here is this is a bit of a megaphone pattern. So you can see a high is play connect the dots. Actually, this is a pivot low, pivot high. And we were ramping up through there, and then price came off dramatically. Interestingly enough, in Eastern Europe, the Russians continually are getting bogged down. The Ukrainians are just making their lives horrible there in and around the city that the Russians are trying to take. Lots, of course, finger pointing, name calling, blame game, all that kind of stuff from the Russians, typical. But more importantly, the weather actually is relatively warm. It's probably a lot warmer than people are expecting, and as a result, there's a specific name for it. I think it's called the Rasputin or something like that, where basically the ground just turns to like liquefied dirt. And you can't really do anything. So anyway, point of the matter here is our natural gas price is coming off because of that. That warmer weather in Eastern Europe. What I did notice was poor old Europeans. Guys like Stewart, of course, he has to heat his house over there in Holland, and look at what they did to them. I mean, this is just embarrassing. You can't even see the print here. I should have made this a line chart. But, they took this silly natural gas up to like 340 whatevers per unit. And here we are at 40. So like 1/10 the price? Holy moly. So, they always say, what's the cure for high prices? High prices. And sure enough, back down they've come. So is this going to help the tech space? I don't know. Tough to say. But I think on balance, the stock market's feeling a little bit happier. I suppose the question ultimately here is this one of these kind of buy the rumor, sell the news scenarios? If I understand, Mr. Powell is going to be speaking in front of U.S. Congress. I think this is his semi-annual Humphrey Hawkins testimony that's going to be coming up here relatively shortly. Once we're into that event, the question will be, what happens following that, the other side of it. Buy the rumor, sell the news. I can't remember when that's coming up. I think it's later on in this week that there you are. So Fed Chair Powell testimony. So I don't know whether this is actually, they agreed it's appropriate to raise the target rate another 25 basis points. So we're probably going to see like the slowing down of the rate increases, maybe leveling out. But nonetheless, we will have him speaking in front of. And I don't know. Is this actually? I thought the FOMC decision was on the 21st. It looks like we also have the Bank of Canada, and the Bank of Canada has been used as sort of a proxy for the Rothschilds. The Bank of Canada governor completely. I mean, it's so beautiful watching how completely and utterly wrong these bank governors are about what's going to actually happen in the future. But nonetheless, the Bank of Canada has basically been saying that they're done raising interest rates. We'll see. Anyway, so we got that coming up down the pike. We're right out of the gate first thing Monday morning. You can see actually it looks like it's 2-day testimony. So he'll be speaking tomorrow as well. Is this kind of like maybe there a lot of people are short, or we had a bit of a short covering rally to relieve the oversold condition heading into that event, and things balance out a bit, and then maybe we dip back down. Tough to say. Maybe he'll come out and say, everything's totally awesome and bid stock prices up and woohoo, away we go. I don't think so, but nonetheless, like I said, I think let's call it a relief rally coming out of, like I said, pretty darn oversold condition here. I mean, the most beautiful little buy signal you could possibly get there out of the stock market. And, if anything, we should be tweeting this out and social mediaing this and stuff, because we had a very similar signal come in last October. And the stock market did very well following that. So anyway, so out of the gate here this morning, seeing a continuation of this move up. Thought it was interesting. We actually did have a bullish cross there on the crypto top 30. And just to visualize that, here is that trade. Signal came in at 22,338, and I wasn't able to get long till about 24 and change. 22,400 and change. So, if anything, this isn't terrible because I do like the idea that you wait for the signal and then you just take if it's a bullish signal, you just take the first W following that. So, you can see the market did accept higher here, and, it's just doing its thing. I have no idea what's going to happen here. This algo has been interesting to watch, sort of its evolution. You can see we actually hopped off. And you could make the argument that the signal to get right back in was almost literally exactly the same level. So anyway, it is what it is. Sort of a dovetail to what I did yesterday, levels, weekly chart, daily chart, 4-hour chart, probably just maybe in the daily briefs. We'll touch base on this 4-hour chart through the week. I think we talked about this yesterday. 78.6, we're going to call this now the BFF, Brian's favorite fib. Not a big surprise to see the market's trying to move away from that level. And profile, pretty splotchy. Big holes here. We could easily rally up to 22.8. Come back and kiss this breakdown level from the other side. We had a nice little conversation with Colin there. He was on the broadcast yesterday, sort of affirming Colin's dump chaser zone in this case, right? So we'll put the Colin dump chaser zone. CDCZ. CZ. Oh no. Dump chaser zone. Yeah, I guess so, so could we easily get a counter trend rally up into this little teal box? Yeah, no problem at all. In fact, Mr. Gann says you should expect 50% retracements at any given point in time. Probably also, too, this is a nice double bottom here. We could even just do things like Foggenbaums to try and give us an idea of upside objectives. Yeah, 2.618 is the 50% level. That's pretty cool when you see that stuff. And if anything, that's what I like to call confluence, where if you get a number of indicators that are all suggesting a specific level, odds are we're probably going to go up into that area. And if you're looking for places to find resistance, maybe take a little bit of profits if you did sort of like, swing trade off of the lows here. Yeah, that's not a bad level to keep in mind. Interesting too, Brian's favorite fib, good old BFF. Look how it lines up nicely with 4.669s. So, yeah, you can kind of see. Yeah, we got a half decent couple upside objectives here. Do we pop here into Mr. Powell's testimony? Maybe. It's tough to say. What I did notice is, a lot of the sort of rhetoric and scuttlebutt, of course, of late is that China's economy is coming back online and all that kind of fun stuff. So, you might find that a bit of this uppie here is just simply explained by the conglomerates, the big names of the world, all, feeling a little bit more optimistic that maybe the world economy isn't tipping over. So, we'll see how it goes. Bottom line here is like I said, we had one hell of a buy signal there on the ES on Friday. Now crypto's flipped back to the bull side. 4-hour chart, I think just crypto, Bitcoin itself, I think we can see a nice move up here. If you're into sort of a speculative type of mood, oh boy, have we got a market for you here. The little ones are having lots of fun. And this is freaky, man, when you see this, because it kind of pisses me off. I still haven't got my act together with the ledger and all that crap and DeFi. And you guys love your damn DeFi. And an old man like me, it's just, I got to wrap my head around all this. And it's just so difficult. Anyway, you can see this thing, Pulse, Bitcoin, USD, Coin, Uniswap, 3 ETH. Oh, goodness. I actually, when we were melting down there last week, I even put tweets out going, Believe it or not, there are actually some coins that still look extremely buyable, very attractive down here. And I posted this in a lounge, and one of our OGs on the site was like, "Yep, I'll go grab some of that. Thank you very much. Great idea." And now I think he's feeling pretty good. I wasn't able to pick this up because I was just too wrapped up in other things. But nonetheless, beautiful bottom. Hell, you could even make the argument on this clothesline basis that that's a W unto itself there. And you tell me, I mean, I don't know where the hell this damn thing's going to go. Let's just use this range here. We won't use the crazy, insane top. But, what would be a call-in dump chaser zone here? Where we would realistically expect the dump chasers to actually come back in on the short side. I don't know whether that's relevant here or not, but nonetheless, let's see. Boom! There we go. 38.2s is $1.91. So if you were able to sneak in here, yeah, anywhere below $1, probably odds are you're going to get yourself a nice double there. So 50%, good old WD GAN, really the target that I suggest all new people to trading to use. It was the very first level that I was ever taught to use as a profit objective, 2.24. So even right now, 122, not quite there, like 111, 112. That would be sort of the last price that you could pay. And interesting on a clothesline basis, right? This close here is 111. Coincidence? I think not. So anybody who buys the clothesline breakout level here, there's a double to the 50% rule. Also, too, this is a really good example. Maybe Chris can do a short on this, where we have a rule at TRI, and I see a lot of people in social media, new traders, they often don't follow this. Keep in mind that the reason why I have rules at TRI and when I teach in the schools, because I've done this trade 100 times and got my head handed to me as the market just keeps working its way down. And, there was a really good example of that here recently. I don't know if I have the right symbol or not, but I think it was this one. Well, anyway, somebody was talking about trading a trendline breakout, but there was no structure on the other side of the trendline, and the price just slowly just worked its way back down, just driving everybody crazy. And that's often what happens in this game. It's very frustrating sometimes. So I think that's kind of weird. I thought I had this one on the chart. But anyway, let's go back to the other conversation. There we go. So if you're going to trade with trend lines, my strong suggestion to you, let's see if we can get this to work. There we go. Draw your trend lines off a market structure. I think we talked about using market structure to draw trend lines when we had that big Bitcoin 4-hour channel I was showing you yesterday. And let the market, especially, and ideally trend lines, you'd like to see them traded 2-3 times. So 1, 2, 3, that looks good. Let the market break out, but the key here is you want to see bullish market structure on the other side of this trend line. Not over here, over here. So I think you could make the argument that nothing, no W's. I mean, we had like a up and then a down and then an up, but this is still over here, so nah. Then down, then up, then down. Hello. Nice W right in there. So there's your breakout, and that's the sort of the reason why I said that this thing was buyable right here, was that the W was already working. Then you can actually, if you really want to be a sharpshooter, sniper, as some people like to call it in this crypto space, you draw your reload zones, and notice there's Brian's favorite fib, the BFF, right there. Talk about a killer level to be long from, right? If you were long from 89 cents, you'd just be laughing right now. So there's a really good example, great application of, we want let the market break out through the trend line, but then wait for the bullish structure. Give me a big fat W on the other side of this trend line, and there's your signal. And I might make the argument now, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what the moving averages look like on this thing, but I'd make the argument that probably all the moving averages have been cleaned out now. See what we got here. Yeah, so the fast moving averages, you can see, and this is just the daily chart, but you can see things are starting to turn back up here. Got a nice moving average cross finally, so this thing is actually giving trending signals. Yeah, it's a good looking chart, gotta tell you. And this is a good example where the public buys up markets. They always buy up markets, and they often get killed. And institutional players, they buy down markets. And this is a really good example. You have to force yourself to come in at the bottom end of the ranges, act like an institution, and then when this thing goes up, and of course all the kids on social media and stuff are all going crazy, you're actually selling into their euphoria. Don't have to sell it all, but when this thing pops, if it does, of course, that's when you have to force yourself to take some profits and pay yourself for your hard work. Anyway. Okay, so interesting example of what's going on in crypto. Of course, if you want some fun, and I always pull up this crazy thing. And what's interesting about this is a really good example of how you don't want to sell everything, right? What you really want to do is the expression that, is sort of industry standard is think of a baby and trying to feed a baby. You don't, jam all of the food in the baby's mouth at the beginning. Sometimes you actually have to tease the baby a little bit, but you spoon feed, where you're just spoon feeding the market coins. In this case, coins, or whatever these things are, tokens. Could be stock, could be options, could be futures contracts, whatever. So whatever strategy you happen to use, I don't care. All that really matters to me, and the most important thing is just try and establish a risk-free trade as quickly and easily as possible. Keep it as simple as possible, especially if you're trying to follow like hundreds of different assets. It's just simple rule, just keep it simple, stupid, right? The old KISS. Just sell half on a double. Every time the asset price doubles, sell half. Don't overthink this stuff. So anyway, interesting to see how this funny little one. Of course, I always get sort of cringe when I have to say the name of it. But there it goes. Big pop. 16% move on the day. And interesting how we're coming into a Foggenbaum level. It'll be interesting to see whether I can get that next sell half on a double order off. I think I probably could. But because this is this DeFi stuff and all that, it's a little bit tricky. And I know Sjord, he was sort of managing the whole DeFi sort of portfolio and had a little bit of a difficulty pulling the trade off here. But I have faith in him. We'll see how we do. But up top here, anywhere north of like 4,300 or so. And we've got another double on the books. So really good example, banging out doubles, sell halves on doubles, all that kind of fun stuff. I should probably get those tweets going again. I haven't really been that active. I guess a little bit lazy, I guess. I don't know. I did actually do some buying, but it's interesting. The name that I did buy actually is down, and Mr. Musk is actually in a little bit of, I don't know, call it social media hot water. I'm not even quite sure, but I did do a little bit of buying in that thing recently. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. There's nothing really to get too excited about there, though. So, what do we got here? Crypto market catching a bit of a bid. Crypto top 30 flipped back to the bull side, so I did go buy and back in and bought the position back. I like the idea of the market rallying into some sort of Fed event here tomorrow and Wednesday. As I said, I'm surprised actually that they didn't give the headline, but I think this is the Humphrey Hawkins testimony. Little speculative venture cryptos still seem to be relatively hot. The only issue here is, as always, not allowed to chase. So, maybe avoid buying the names that have gone straight up, and especially the names that have like big fat M's working right now, and just get your stink bids working. I mean, the algo might flip back bearish tomorrow, and then we're right back on the negative thinking side. I don't know. But something like this RNDR, very popular within the space. Sjord, of course, very interested in this name. And now I can actually start to see Remember I had made reference about that confluence idea, so now I can start to see things like A, B, C, D's start to paint levels. Hey, there's that BFF level of Brian's again, 78.6. I got a stink bid working right off of the original market structure bottom. If we get some sort of absolute puke out here, great. I'll get filled down here. But I might even up my bid here to the 78.6 there, just to get a little bit on the books. Other than that, like I said, I kind of screwed up this morning, so woke up late. I didn't really have any day trades per se to talk about. Sort of, yeah. Hey, I'm just human like everybody else. I had a bad morning. It's just the way it goes. Stock market enjoying a pretty nice rally, I will say. Like I said, we had that killer buy signal there on the algo on the U.S. stock market there last week. So a pretty darn impressive rally. The only question I have here is this maybe a little bit too far, too fast? Then, of course, Mr. Powell's going to speak tomorrow and the next day, and then does the whole darn thing roll back over? I don't know whether I really have enough Econs here to justify this big rally, or whether it just feels like it's almost like a short covering rally. And maybe a bit of hopium that maybe Mr. Powell says something somewhat dovish tomorrow and the next day. But, like if we look at the econs themselves, IV, PMI, Canadian PMI, Canada's taking it on the chin. I've talked to you guys about this. I do believe that Canada is a short here and will be a short probably for the next 10, 15 years. And it's probably going to be one of these things that they don't let the actual asset prices fall, because heaven forbid we wouldn't want any of these oligopoly banks in Canada to actually take losses on all these mortgages that they've just spat out just insanely. So you're probably just going to find it's price inflation that erodes the purchasing power of the people's lives. And you want to see an example of that, go to a local grocery store in Canada. It's just embarrassing what they've done to us. But long and short of all this is the Bank of Canada has been saying that they want to stop raising interest rates. They're seeing that the economy is slowing. I don't know. If this thing had dipped below 49 and change, I'd say, all right, you got yourself a big fat, M top. But as it stands right now, this thing could very easily W out. And if we head back up through 60, this damn market's off to the races again. So I haven't gotten a breakdown there out of Canadian data just yet. So we'll see how that goes. U.S. data came out this morning, kind of a minor number. Whenever you see these sort of red things on this particular site, and I think a lot of these sites do this, that's sort of a major number. Minor numbers, we had like U.S. factory orders came in. Market was looking for a pretty big thump in there, and it didn't come in nearly as bad as the market was expecting. And interestingly enough, this was all around the aircraft. I was actually really surprised when I read the headline that then they got rid of it again. Anyway, it's so funny how they do this. Anyway, actually no, here it is. I beg your pardon. It's right up at the top. Anyway, this kind of jumped out at me. I was a bit surprised. Orders for transportation tumbled 13%. Dragged by a 54% slump in those for non-defense aircraft and parts. 54% drop? What the hell's going on? Did Boeing go out of business or something? So, something's a bit stinky there in the U.S. Big, Boeing is the big U.S. airplane manufacturer, so I don't know what the heck's going on there. But if you took that negative data print out, would this not be actually extremely strong? As I had said, if you actually look at the factory orders themselves, if you take transportation out, actually they came in twice expectations. So again, this is more anecdotal proof that I don't think the Fed can be done raising interest rates. I think they've got to continue on the course. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we saw that. Where the heck is it? Anyway, I thought I had it on here. We saw that the expectation was for the Fed to continue raising rates. Actually, I think it was when I was clicking on this. So actually, it'd be interesting to see if it had it on here. Almost all of the FOMC participants agreed that it was appropriate to raise the target rate by a little bit more. So I think I've shown you this before. We haven't looked at it in a bit, so maybe it's not a bad idea on this sort of Monday morning, getting ready for Fedsters. Just check in on the money cycle and how is that going? We had, of course, there through the whole sickness economy and through sort of the problems around that. And personally, I think it had everything to do with the Jupiter-Saturn cross and sort of the official reset of the economy and all that crap, Klaus and stuff. Every, I guess 80 years we have to do a new money cycle. So I think that's what all this was. And indeed, the Fed was in a little bit of trouble of losing control of the economy. This now is, we'll call it the Fed spread because it's the federal funds. This used to be the T-bill market. And T-bills versus Eurodollars. Eurodollars is the orange line you see here. So that's sort of the corporate money market rate. It's a very, very big market, trillions of dollars. And the blue is, dark blue is the Fed funds, or basically the guaranteed market rate. And when this thing gets too wide, you can see like here, for example, the spread between the two. This is you can see the corporate interest rate market, the free market, if you will, was in free fall here back in, I guess about a year ago, especially when who did what over there in Eastern Europe. And people were kind of like, oh, goodness, Fed could lose control of this whole system. Fed had to, of course, play catch up and, continually raise rates. You can see the spread now is negligible, and our spread is down to like 0.19. So they've got control of the system. And we've often said, you can see this triangle, if the Fed spread can get back below this sort of 0.25, 0.35, the Fed has taken back control of the system. So that's what I think is going on here. There's no worry about the system collapsing or, the market out of control. I think we're back sort of politely in control. It's interesting how since last October, the Eurodollar market has actually been basically going sideways. Question ultimately here is, do we start seeing inflationary pressures coming back into the system here, which of course will drive this to new lows, higher corporate interest rates, and then the Fed has to respond and raise interest rates. I think you could actually make the argument that we've gotten to the point now where the Fed doesn't have to act. It sounds to me like, and remember, the Fed always goes too far, does too much for too long. It's just the rule of thumb. And guys like Stanley Druckenmiller make a fortune off of just taking the exact opposite trade of whatever the Fed's telling you is going to happen in the economy. He does a great job at it, I'll tell you that much, by crackers. So my hunch is Stanley's probably preparing for the Fed to drive the entire global economy into recession. The one good part about it for the United States is they're coming out of the crappy part of their cycle. I think Asia and Europe are heading in, they're in different respective parts of their respective cycles, but I think they're in the crappier part of the cycle than North America. So as a result, the global economy is the one that's actually most vulnerable here, the BRICS nations. It's interesting how I hear so many people talking about the BRICS nations actually creating their own currency. I can't see that happening anytime soon. But, hey, everybody's entitled to an opinion. I would just simply say the Fed's got control of the system. Everything's humming along. And the question ultimately is, does this thing go in W? If you see this orange line W, then it means that the Fed has achieved their objectives. They have broken the interest rate and the inflation cycle, and then we start heading back up. Now, does this follow along what we should be expecting? And what I found, and this is just Brian as a student of the market, through my 35 years playing this silly game, is that actually the short-term money market cycle, the cost of money, is actually extremely cliche, and it's extremely predictable. It's quite remarkable, really. So I think it moves on a sine wave basis, where we go from very low interest rates, weak economy, to higher interest rates, stronger economy, to lower interest rates, weaker economy, to stronger, higher interest rates, a stronger economy, and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Notice, of course, we had a situation where the interest rates were rising back in 2018, 2019. I remember Mr. Trump was coming out saying he thought interest rates were too high. They needed to come down. So it's fascinating how indeed, and it just was the catalyst of the sickness that ended up actually causing it to happen. And of course, remember March of 2000, shouldn't we debate mortgage interest rates? Give them the goddamn money. Blah, blah, blah. All that nonsense. But boom, interest rates taken to zero. Right in line with our sine wave, and then sine wave rolls over, and interest rates start to, actually a little bit late. You can see the euro dollar market started to really crap out here. And guess what? We're coming into a troughing window. And what I think is going to happen here is I think it's going to be along the lines of something like this. So this was back in 07, 08. Notice how the euro-dollar market sort of tried to bottom and then went sideways for like a year or so and then turned back up. And of course, the blue line, I guess that's blue, I don't know, maybe purple. It eventually, sort of turned and went with the corporate interest rate market as well. But I think what we have to see is we have to see the corporate interest rate market actually W out here for our sine wave turn. And you can see that process is happening. It's slow. Is there still one more move to the downside here? I don't know. It's tough to say. My inkling is yes, but at the same time too, if Mr. Putin just can't get his act together, and it turns out the Ukrainians are actually looking like they might actually win that war, you might find that we had that whole sort of inflation push about the natural gas prices, now the cost of energy and all that conversation in Eastern Europe, you might find that the whole inflation bugaboo just disappears. Like I said, what's the cure for high prices? It's high prices. I don't see that natural gas market turning now. That looks like it's still heading lower. So obviously this is going to have some major economic damage. Poor old Sjord. You see him, if you ever come on the Tuesday daily briefs, half of the time he's sitting in like a big winter jacket doing his reports. Poor guy. Anyway. Yep.
Last 30 minutes, so just give me your heads up.
All right. Well, I don't know. Did we get any value out of that? Was that a constructive rant for a Monday morning?
I was trying to hold off for so long. It's a good clip of about 8 minutes talking Fed spread and implications there. So I think it's actually really valuable.
Okay, well that's good. I mean, you can see what's happening here on the 4-hour chart. I mean, it's not a rip-roaring rally. Oh my God, everything is going absolutely crazy. I think this is a continuation pattern. The problem is can you come in and buy stocks way up top here? If anything, I might even, gee whiz, that looks like it's kind of running out of steam, eh? Doesn't that look like a double top? I don't know, maybe a bit. Probably, keep in mind, this is the day trader talking now. You can see divs starting to form. Willie is stupid. OBV's rolling over here. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's actually now, this was sort of the buy the rumor and the sort of the end expression of that huge rally that, started late Thursday, early Friday. Does that look like that's nearing an end? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking so. And if anything, probably once, if this thing does end up topping out here and start sort of floundering, then we probably need to just cool our jets through the whole sort of Powell testimony event. So, all right. I think that's probably good for a Monday morning rant. Of course, talked good for a good couple hours yesterday. Did the whole sort of weekly, daily 4-hour Bitcoin summary. So please check that out. As well, I think it's a good idea that on a daily, regular basis, I ask everybody, let's really try and get this this YouTube sort of social media thing going in earnest. So if you could, I see there's 35 people on the video over there at YouTube. If you could maybe hit the like button if you found anything that I said here today constructive. Subscribe, ring the bell here to be notified when these daily briefs start up in the morning, Monday to Friday. It's not a bad summary window that we do. Give you a pretty good idea, at least, of what TRI is thinking in the market. As well, we have our education program running. Next intake is about a month and a half, 2 months away. So, by all means, if you are interested in getting educated from people that have quite a bit of experience trading in the market, and interestingly enough too, now you could make the argument our level 1 instructor started working with me back in 2014, so the guy himself has a good 9 years direct experience trading and actively managing portfolios in the market. If you feel like getting, literally learning the process, because that's the key to all this, is the process and how to effectively run your small business of trading, I would highly encourage you to pop on over and check out our testimonials page and our sign up. And remember too that we do a raffle every term. So you might just win a free seat to our education program. Wouldn't that be fun? So check out that maybe. Also too, on the heels of this, I'll spend the next maybe, hour or so chit-chatting with the members of the site in our daily brief after party. If I happen to see something that I'd like to go into a little bit more detail with the community, or even do like feedback if I haven't answered all the questions that have been asked, maybe consider checking out the daily brief after parties as a nice supplement to do a little deeper dig into what we're thinking about here today. All right. Why don't we leave it at that? PMA for the win. Hopefully you all feel nice and positive. Slow and steady wins the race. Al goes back on the long side of the market. We'll see how that goes. All the best. And, of course, we'll see everybody again bright and early tomorrow morning. And anybody who is interested, pop in on the after party, and we'll continue the conversation and maybe look at a few more ideas that we could potentially actually be buys right now instead of chasing. Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. All right, have yourselves a great day. Oh, look at that top just came in on the ES, so it looks like the rally's probably done for now. Slow and steady wins the race. Don't take no wooden nickels. PMA for the win. All the best. The only love for prices. Bye for now.